The rain beat against the windshield as if bullets flew in a battlefield. Marco braked hard in the battered old taxi, his knuckles pale, as he shouted, "Hey, you left your backpack!" He leapt out into the storm after the passenger who'd just run off without a word. But the man was already gone, disappeared into the darkness. Marco gazed at the waterlogged bag in his possession, his heart pounding. Inside, a flash of money, a glinting timepiece, and something that appeared to be a championship medal. Temptation struck him like a ton of freight. His daughter required surgery, bills were mounting. What would happen if he simply kept it? Marco was an ordinary man, a 52-year-old taxi driver living paycheck to paycheck in the tough streets of Chicago. Frayed jacket, calloused hands after decades of non-stop shifts, eyes weary of seeing the world whizzing by while he remained stationary. He shared a small apartment with his wife and ill daughter, Sophia, whose chronic disease sucked every dollar. Marco was the underdog, the unsung hero who never griped, always opting for kindness over grumble. Humble to the point of fault, he'd brush off compliments from grouchy riders, mumbling, "God sees everything." The rider. He was just another in a lineup of busy guys in a hoodie, his face obscured under a cap, issuing orders without so much as a glance. But unbeknownst to Marco, this was no typical fare. This was Alex Rivera, the globally renowned soccer phenomenon, national team captain, millionaire. Arrogant on the playing field, flashy in the interview room, Alex dwelled in a penthouse apartment with luxury vehicles and fawning fans. He'd dismissed Marco's light conversation on the ride, too caught up in his own self-importance to even see the driver's unspoken dignity. Power differential? Alex was the monarch. Marco, the forgotten peasant. Marco drove home that evening with the backpack riding on the passenger seat like a time bomb. He stopped under a dim streetlight, unzipping it further. Bundles of money, thousands, glared back, along with a Rolex watch engraved to order and a gold medal reading World Cup champion. His fingers shook. "This can change everything," he mused aloud, visualizing Sophia's ashen face in the hospital bed. His wife had pleaded with him to work a second job, but pride kept him from giving in. The tempest raged outside, reflecting the battle raging within him. Steal in order to survive, or bring it back and lose his daughter. Higher stakes couldn't be imagined. Sophia's life was at risk, and one mistaken decision could destroy his family. He gripped the steering wheel, rain and tears blinding his eyes. "What would my father do?" he whispered, recalling the man who had instilled honesty in him above everything. But Marco's innocent heart prevailed. He slammed the bag closed, gunned the engine, and headed back to the drop-off location, a luxury hotel. No interior address, but he'd caught a passenger mention it on a phone conversation. As he burst into the lobby, soaking wet and frantic, the concierge sneered. "Sir, you can't just—" Marco interrupted him, pushing the bag out. "This was left in my cab. Find the owner, now." Security glared at him suspiciously, as if he were the thief. Minutes dragged on like hours while Marco paced, shooting disdainful glances at affluent onlookers. Then suddenly the elevator signal. Out emerged Alex Rivera, no hoodie anymore. Fans surrounded him in an instant, cameras snapping. Marco's jaw fell. The backpack was his. The soccer superstar who'd just helped his team win the World Cup. The surprise struck like thunder. Alex hadn't forgotten the backpack inadvertently. He'd left it intentionally. Tormented by paranoid thinking following a deception from his own inner circle, a manager who'd embezzled money from him, Alex had begun experimenting on strangers. If a poor cab driver returns this, perhaps there still exists goodness in the world, he'd told his assistant previously. But Marco was unaware. As Alex rushed up, eyes wide, he took the bag, frantically checking its contents. "Everything's here," he wheezed, staring at Marco as if he'd seen a ghost. The lobby fell silent. Phones captured the moment. Marco, oblivious to the test, stuttered, I just did what was right." The atmosphere became charged with emotion as Alex took Marco aside, away from the flashing cameras. Pace slowed. The tale grew deeper. "Why?" Alex croaked for the first time. Marco sat on a lobby couch, wiping his face. "My daughter's ill. That cash, it would have saved her. But stealing what doesn't belong to me, it'd kill me inside." He told his history, moving from Mexico as a kid, losing his parents early, creating a life on honesty. I pray for Sophia every night. Stealing? That's not the guy I want her to know. Alex sat, his gruff exterior shattering. Flashbacks assaulted him, growing up poor himself in the slums, soccer his salvation, but fame corrupting him into a man wary, alone. I left that bag to see how you'd react, Alex admitted, tears brimming. After my boss stole me blind, I stopped having faith in people. But you showed me I was wrong. Dialogue came rough. Man, I used to be you, Alex said. Hunger, struggling. Fame did something to me, made me forget to be kind. Marco nodded. We all forget sometimes, but family remembers. Emotions swelled like an orchestra. Alex's eyes moistened, showing vulnerability few saw on screen. Your daughter's name? He asked. Sophia, Marco answered, producing a worn photograph. Alex looked at it, his own recollections swamping. A sister who'd died young of sickness, the anger that had spurred him on. I hid behind walls, Alex conceded. Tested strangers because I couldn't trust friends. Marco put a hand on his shoulder. Trust begins with one act. The hotel lobby dissipated into backstory images. Marco putting Sophia in bed, Alex by himself at his mansion, scrolling headlines of betrayal. Narration inserted. In that moment, two worlds collided. The forgotten driver and the idolized star, both shattered by life's cruelties, healing through honesty. Resolution broke with hope. Alex didn't merely thank Marco. He changed. Come with me, he said, taking him to the penthouse. There, Alex transferred funds for Sophia's procedure, after Ward calling his team. This guy's a hero, he declared on live social media, fans cheering. Marco's phone rang constantly. Donations flowed in from Alex's fans. Days later, at the hospital, Alex stopped by to visit Sophia, presenting her with his medal. For the bravest girl I know, he declared, once more hugging Marco like a brother. The arrogant sportsman regretted his tests, promising to establish a foundation for families such as Marco's. Community came together. Taxis blew their horns in support. Fans chanted Marco's name. Family was together. Marco's wife cried tears of joy as Sophia smiled for the first time in months. You saved us, she said to Alex. He shook his head. No, he saved me. Integrity shines brightest when no one is looking.